retreat series, Dhamma talk number 63. The main theme of our society is full foundation of mindfulness. That means we practice on the mindfulness of materiality, mindfulness of feeling, mindfulness of consciousness, and mindfulness of Dhamma. We observe them. We have dealt the first three already. Today we are going to talk about Dhamma Nupassana, the fourth and the final one. Dhamma Nupassana, contemplation of Dhamma. As it is a large range to cover, today we'll call it part one of Dhamma Nupassana. So this observation or contemplation of Dhamma is observing or contemplating on the Dhamma objects. Dhamma objects, which consists of both materiality and mentality, or material process, mental process. Both are covered under there. And these Dhamma objects are presented in a general form or a collective nature or in a phenomenon or in process. That's how they are presented. And these phenomena or process collective presentation are grouped into 5 types or 5 groups. The first one is mental hindrances. The second one is 5 aggregates of clinging. The third one is 12 sense bases. And the fourth one is 7 factors of enlightenment. And the fifth and the final one is the Four Noble Truths. So there are 5 groups under this Dhamma Nupassana. In general, you can say this, if you are contemplating on Dhamma, this is more of for advanced yogi. In other words, yogis who are quite skillful at observing body, feeling, and mind already. Rupa, Vedana, and Citta. You become quite skillful. And also, these yogis have a fair understanding of the Buddha Dhamma in terms of theory. And in Dhamma Nupassana, it requires a certain degree or a certain extent of reflection or thinking. So this is a little different from the first 3. On the first 3, no thinking, nothing, no concept, no words. And here is a certain degree of reflection or thinking is involved. So let's deal with the first group. The first group is 5 mental hindrances, or Pincha Nivarana in Pali. These 5 hindrances, they obstruct the gaining of concentration. they obstruct the gaining of mental concentration. And at the same time, you need a certain degree or a certain extent of concentration to see the true nature of mind and matter, which we call it insight or wisdom. So in a way you can say these 5 mental hindrances also obstruct or make the growth wisdom or progress in wisdom grow very slowly or not at all. That's what the hindrances does. And also these hindrances must be observed in a collective nature. You will understand as we go along what is meant by collective nature. Collective nature or a collective object. So the first one is called Kama Chanda Nivarana. In other words, desire for pleasurable sense object. Loosely we call it just sense pleasure. But sense pleasure arises out or from the pleasurable object. So more precisely, it's a desire for pleasurable sense object. So whenever pleasurable or sense pleasure is arising in you, okay, you don't go to specific this or that or what or where or how specific. You just say sense, desire. You just labeled it sense, desire, sense, desire. That's how one observes. The second one is Vyabhada Nivarana. It's ill will. Ill will is basically aversion towards the disagreeable objects. When disagreeable objects arises or when you come face to face, you have aversion. That's ill will. And also, when you have these objects, you want to eliminate anything, any object that is undesirable. That's kind of an attitude. And also, this is an interesting thing, note it carefully. Not aversion, actually it's a fondness. You like it, you're fond of it. Fondness in unwholesome nature or unwholesome things. Liking unwholesome nature and unwholesome thing is also considered under ill will, because that's what it will arise. And when these things arises, ill will, anger, aversion, all these things, whatever is arising, you don't go specific. You just say ill will, ill will, ill will, or vyabhada, vyabhada, vyabhada. So that is the second subgroup. The main group is hindrances, 5 hindrances. These are the subgroup. The third one is called Tina Migda, torpor and sloth in English. What does these torpor and sloth does? What do? They produce sluggishness. Sluggishness in the mind and also sluggishness in the mental state. And these are caused by laziness. Caused by laziness. And you'll find that not 1, 2, torpor and sloth. One is belongs to the consciousness, one belongs to the mental factors. They are two and they are entirely different, but they are grouped together as one. The reason is both of them have a same function. They put the mind or the mental states into sluggishness, and they both are caused by laziness, and they have the exact opposing mental factor. The opposing mental factor is energy or exertion. As all these three are common to both, it is put under one. So you can call it one or you can call it two, as you like. But under the five, it is considered as one, under the 5 hindrances. And this torpor and sloth, it manifests. Okay, when you see it, how would you see these things in your practice or daily world? You will see a weak mind, a reluctant mind, exhausted mind, drained mind, shrinking mind, sleepy mind. This is how they will. Sleepy mind is the manifestation of torpor and sloth. Or not having motivation to do wholesome actions. That is torpor and sloth, manifestation of torpor and sloth. Not having motivation to do wholesome actions. And also ready to give up as soon as the going gets tough. You are ready to give up under difficulty. That is the manifestation. So when these things are arising in you, and if you are aware of it, simply note as torpor and sloth, sloth and torpor, or just simply sloth, sloth, sloth. Whichever that flows to you, know that that's a group of different manifestations are arising, which belongs to sloth and torpor group. The next one is Udicca, Kukucca, Nivarana. Basically in English is restlessness and remorse. Again, there are two. Restlessness is one thing, remorse is one thing, but they are put together as one under the 5 hindrances. Because both are the same, they have the same function. These both mental states have the same function. What it is, they are agitated. They agitate. They agitate the mind, agitation. And also cause. The cause is too much thinking. Too much thinking causes restlessness and remorse. And the opposing force or opposing mental state, that is tranquility. Both have the same function, same cause, and same opposing force. That's why they are put as one. And in life you will see their manifestation. In meditation you will see the manifestation as you are meditating, but there's a lot of gaps in between. You miss, you miss, you miss. That's the manifestation. And also it doesn't stick on the object. The object arising, you focus it, but just slip away. You didn't grab on it. Not sticking, hovering over the object. That's other manifestation of restlessness. And also having regrets and having remorse, okay, or feeling guilty for things you didn't do what should have done, for things you did what you shouldn't have done, having remorse and regret and guilt on those things. That's Kukucca. And that's their manifestation. That's how they do. So whenever you are aware of these, note restlessness, or remorse, or worry, or guilt, whatever that comes to you, that is appropriate. And the fifth one is called Vicikicca. Vicikicca in English is doubt. But in here, as a Buddhist, doubt is very specific, narrowed down. It's having misgiving on the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, the three jewels, and having doubt in the law of karma, and also all these stages of insight. Are these insight level real? Do they really exist or make up? And at the end of all these insight, once you have gone through, does one really reach the path and fruition, Mekha and Phala, or Nibbana finally? This Nibbana does really exist, and so on and so on. Okay. And these kind of thoughts are doubt. And if you have them, just simply note it, label it, doubt. So this is the 5 hindrances and how one must note on a general, on a collected level. Simply note that. Is that all that Dhamma Vipassana is? Contemplation of Dhamma? No, this is just the beginning, telling you how to note on a collective level or on a general level. But it goes far beyond that. So, what does it contains? And first of all is there's a hindrance arising. Okay. Desire for the sense object is arising. So, desire for the sense object, okay, is present. One must know that is desire for the pleasurable sense object is present in me. Okay, not just simply present. Here now a little bit of more concept, reflection, thinking comes in. Desire for the sense object is present in me. So here present, I like to give a little bit more detail. In Pali, in the Patana, okay, Patana is 24 conditions. And there, this present in Pali is called Ati Pichyo, condition of presence condition. And there's another word called Vikata Pichyo. Vikata is non-disappearance, condition of non-disappearance or non-disappearance condition. Okay. Presence and non-disappearance, totally two different words. Okay. You might even split hairs and make a difference. But in a core technical essence level, they are exactly the same. Presence and non-disappearance is exactly the same. But Buddha split into two and talk this way even though they are the same, because some people can understand with the word absence better on a process, and some people can understand the same process with the word concept of non-disappearance. That's why Buddha used two different things, ati and vigata. So keep that in mind. So when it is present, know that it is present in me. Okay. Presence means there's a sense desire arising in you. And you are aware of it. That is present. That moment, that particular moment when you're observing, that called presence. At the present, it's present. But when the same sense desire appears again and again and again repeatedly, here and there, but higher frequency, then you can simply say repeated presence, or you can say it's translated into existent. It exists. When you say exist, that is occurring repeatedly. Okay. So two words, present and existent. So when there is a sense desire, you are aware of it, and you have to be aware in such a way. This sense desire is present in me. Okay, that's one thing. Still you are observing the sense desire, kama chanda. And also, one must also know the cause or the reason why this sense desire is arising. One must know the cause or the reason why this sense desire is arising. Always we can say in one word, they call it unwise attention, ayoniso manasikara. Because you have unwise attention, this is arising. But you can, of course, try and understand based on your level of the Dhamma information. The sense desire, the way you look at it is, oh, they are good, they are great, fantastic. In other words, these sense desires are pleasurable. That's the way you view at it. And as soon as they say these sense desires are pleasurable, basically, pleasurable objects. So, object could be, let's put it dramatically, silver or gold or diamond. And you believe they exist, they are forever. At least, if you don't sell it, if you don't pawn it, you will own it for life. Permanency. You look at that sense object with permanency. Nicha. You look at it with the pleasurable, fantastic, as sukha. And also you look at it with the base of atta, self. Okay, self. Why? Because self is what? I, me, mine. They are all under self, mine. These objects are mine. Okay. If you want to go specific, mine. So you reflect or you look at them, your viewpoint is these are permanent, these are great, nice, and these are mine. Or at least good to own, good to observe. That is the unwise reflection. You have that kind of a reflection, unwise reflection, or attitude towards the sense, pleasure or pleasurable objects. For that reason, these sense desire arising in you. That's the cause. And also, what do? When these sense desire are absent, okay? When the sense desire are absent, one must know these sense desire are absent in me. Now the word absent. The word absent, I like to explain it a little further, again based on the 24 conditions, patana. This absence in Pali is called nati, nati pichyo. And there's another word the Buddha used for the same process called avigata. Avigata is disappearance. Okay? Nati pichyo, avigata pichyo. Two different words, two different takes, but they are referring to the same process, the same event, the same situation. Okay? Absent, disappearance, they are exactly the same. So keep that in mind. And as I had said before, Buddha used these things, two different words for the same thing, because some people can understand better than the other in a certain word. So when it is absent, one must know this is absence in me. Okay? And what you do? You note it. Why? What is the cause? What is the cause of sense desire being absent in you? One must know that. It is because of the noting. You are mindful. You observe the object with precision and deeply. When you note the sense desire that is arising in you, when you observe it, then that sense desire disappears. Disappearances happen, or it is absent. That's the reason, because when one notes, it disappears, it's absent, or you can say it does not arise. It does not arise. Why? We already say noting, but let's go with full explanation. Number one, because one has a wise attention or wise reflection. When it is present, it is unwise attention or reflection. When it is absent, it is a wise attention or wise reflection. And how do you reflect wisely? These sense desires are ever-changing, impermanent. These sense pleasures are, they come and they go as they please. You become the slave of it, that's why it is suffering. These sense pleasure has no identity, anatta. You reflect anicca, dukkha, anatta on the sense desire or pleasurable sense object. That's a wise attention. It is the main cause, of course, or distant cause. But the proximate cause, immediate cause of this disappearance is noting, observing. That is the proximate cause. That's why it disappears, that's why it is absent, that's why it doesn't arise. But, second one is sometime, some yogi will notice, actually notice the absence of sense desire or sense desire not existing in your awareness, or sense desire has been abandoned. Something of the nature a yogi notice. And that kind of yogis are people who are very good, very skillful, and you can observe mindfulness, noting continuously one after the other, and their mindfulness and concentration is so strong, no sense desire arises for a longer period of time. And at that period, suddenly, it's funny how the minds work. Suddenly, the mind's aware, sense desire hasn't been arisen for some time. Or you can say, sense desire is absent. In other words, a little thought, sense desire is absent for a long time, or some time, or it has not been in existence for some time. Because most of the time we have all these thoughts of sense desire arising, and if it is not been arising for some time continuously, suddenly your mind becomes aware of it. And if that's the case, you have to say absence, absent. The other one I will say disappear, disappear, disappearance. So you have abandoned. And also there's another one. Another one is, if you are in that category, you must be aware like this. The cause or the reason for non-arising, does not arise, of the abandoned sense desire. You have already abandoned the sense desire because your mindfulness and concentration is so strong. But they are not going to arise in the future. In other words, total elimination of sense desire. The reason is why? Because of the path consciousness or path wisdom. Total elimination will happen at the Arhata Megha, Arhata path wisdom. But the lower three, they also abandon a certain form, a certain nature of sense desire as well. So, that is sense desire. And if one can observe that way, whatever comes in, it's present, it's not present, the reason is present, the cause is present, the reason of the absence and the cause of absence. And all-roundedly, accordingly, if you have a collective awareness of these facts, some from the direct observation, some from the experiential, and some from the reflection of the event. But make sure not too much thoughts go in. Better to stay more on an experiential level than these reflections. But if you observe that way, then you are said to be practicing Dhamma Nupassana, contemplation of Dhamma. And also, if you are in meditation, that's how. And even offhand, in a general way, you can always observe that way. And also there's another one. This is happening in me. You are not in a meditation mode. You see other people, and this process is occurring in me. So does this process occur in those people. Occurring in me is contemplating internally. The other one is externally, observing or inferential understanding. So is these things arising in those people, so is these things will be absent in others. Externally and internally. And if you are aware of these things as a package and from many facets to the Dhamma, and these combination of many facets, collective nature is called Dhamma. Only then you are practicing Dhamma Nupassana. Okay? So in here, just for general knowledge, there are some supportive method. You are practicing this sense desire. If you have a very strong sense desire, some do, and you can do the concentration meditation techniques there. That one will be another category. But they are supportive nature, supportive method to eliminate sense desire. Second one is ill will. Ill will is the same thing. When it is present, one must know it is present in me. And when it is absent, one must know it is absent in me. The cause for the arising of the ill will, again, is unwise reflection. In general, anicca, dukkha, anatta, anicca, dukkha, atta, which is permanent, pleasurable, and self. But here we can use one word, personalized. Ill will arises because you are personalizing it. Personalizing it means atta. That's a wise reflection. When it is absent, how do you reflect? Wise reflection. Oh, I'm having a wrong attitude, that's why I'm angry. Oh, this is not beneficial, should be discarded. Oh, this is simply a process, it's not personal. When you reflect like that, automatically these could be released or disappear. And of course, second one, the proximate cause always is what? Noting, observing, mindful. The same thing. When you observe, when you note, when you're mindful, these ill will dissolved and disappear. For that moment, when you're observing, ill will ceased. And again too, sometimes people are aware of the absence or abandonment of non-arising. If that's the case, note that why it is. And then the reason for non-arising or abandonment for the future time to come. In other words, total elimination. Okay, again, it's a part consciousness or part wisdom. For ill will is very specific. Only when you attain the third level, anagami megga or anagami megga pinya, wisdom, only then it can be totally eliminated. And the third one is sloth and torpor, the third hindrances. Again, we will go to back much in detail. When it is present, know that it is present in me. And the cause are unwise attention. How do you have the unwise attention? You're thinking that there's no harm to be bored or to be a little lazy or to be sluggish. Sometimes it's I work too hard, so I become a little sluggish. Okay. No, haven't done something, it's bored. No harm done. You can shake it off. That kind of attitude is unwise attention. If you have that kind of attitude towards the boredom or sluggishness or lethargy, then you are having the unwise attention. And then what do? Of course, you note, you observe on it. So also note that when it is absent, it is absence in me. And of course, wise reflection. How do you reflect wisely? You reflect upon the benefits of effort and exertion. the benefits of effort and exertion, then you will direct the mind to the right channel. And then of course, when you note, when you observe, you cannot simply observe like you always normally do. You have to observe energetically, ardently, forcefully, with great effort. In other words, double down, triple down, quadruple down your effort. With that kind of great attentive effort, you must note, for that slop and torpor to disappear. So total abandonment of this slop and torpor is, it goes to the highest level, arahata mega. Okay? Arahata wisdom. Only when you reach that, you can abandon the slop and torpor completely. So that's the third one, how to deal with it. And the fourth one is restlessness and remorse. Uddhacca, kukucca, nivarana. So in here, when it is present, know it is present in me. When it is absent, know that it's absent in me. When it is present, it is the unwise attention. What kind of unwise attention brings restlessness and remorse? It is so simple, it's laughable. Too much thinking. Too much thinking brings you restlessness. Too much thinking brings you regret and guilt and remorse. Repeated recalling of these events. Too much thinking in one word. That's unwise attention. When it is absent, what's the cause? Of course, wise attention. But what do you pay wise attention to? You have to pay wise attention to words or matters related to tranquility. Attention on tranquility, capacity. And if you pay attention to tranquility, they will be subdued. And whenever these restlessnesses are arising, note, restless, restless, restless. And also, when it disappears, note that it disappear, disappear, disappear. When you note, you just only note the current arising. As soon as it disappears, in other words, as soon as it ends, as soon as it ceased, you have to note, so to speak, it has disappeared. In other words, giving you a right to the point. You know exact moment when it disappears, and then you know disappearing, disappearing. When you see it disappearing, it means that you know exactly at what point it's gone. Just like that, light there in a room, and you click the switch on, and sudden darkness come in. Lightness gone, disappear. That moment you are aware of it. That kind of noting, disappearing, must be noted. Total abandon of restlessness and remorse. For restlessness, only at the arahata mega, the fourth level of path, will eliminate restlessness. Remorse is anagami mega. It is the third level of path. Only then it will be totally eliminated. And the last one, doubt. Doubt is vicikiccha. First step is when you know that, see that doubt is present in me. When it is absent, you know that doubt is absent in me. Doubt, unwise attention. The cause is unwise attention. Mindfulness is paying attention to matters or conditions or situation that is beyond your comprehension, that is beyond your penetrative power, that is beyond your logic. If you go there and explore it, you will have doubts. And also another reason is some people have simply a doubting nature, more like conspiracy theorist. Everything they look with doubt, the doubting nature. If you have doubting nature, the doubt will arise. So when it is absent, when it is not there, when the doubt is not there, that means one of the cause is you pay wise attention. What is one's attention? You pay attention or you direct your mind towards the wholesomeness, wholesome nature, towards the healing nature, towards healthy topics, towards harmony, positivity. These kind of nature you pay direction, pay your attention towards the wholesome, healing, healthy, harmony, positive. If your mind is roaming in those domains, doubt has no chance to arise. Let's say diversion technique. Okay? And when there is doubt, know that and note it till it disappears. Note till it disappears. And as soon as it disappears, note disappearing, disappearing, disappearing. In other words, you like to have the precise moment when it disappears that you are sharply aware of it. That's why we say these techniques are this Dhamma Nupassana for the more experienced and advanced yogi. And total abandonment of doubt is the first part consciousness, Sotapatti Magga. The first level, once you attain the first part, wisdom, doubt is totally eliminated. So those are the five. Those are the five, and if you want to practice as Dhamma Nupassana, there's the direct observation and experience, and then also there's a certain degree of reflection or thinking is involved. And for that you need to know some certain degree of the Dhamma theory, and also you should sit down and analyze it ahead, even before meditation. What's the cause, what's the reason, things like that. If you do that, then you would be able to, with time, you will become more and more skillful, and then all these things will become more like an instinct. Instantly, it can be arise. At the beginning is a lot of experiencing and a lot of reflection, a lot of thinking. Slowly and slowly and slowly, these can arise without much thinking, because it becomes a second nature. That is Dhamma Nupassana. And there are 5 groups under Dhamma Nupassana, and this one is Kama Chanda, this one is Pincha Nivarana, 5 hindrances. How to practice Dhamma Nupassana on the 5 hindrances. So there are 4 more left. Today is part 1. So may all of you be able to practice contemplation of Dhamma as the Buddha has taught us, and may you become skillful and attain peace and happiness as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu. Sadhu.
Thank you very much.